Hello. Okay, so I want Queen Elizabeth II to abdicate from the throne because it's quite clear that she's guilty of high treason. She has been involved with Lord Justice Fulford, who had an investigation into him regarding, the allegations made on Sunday. So Adrian Fulford had supported the paedophile information exchange in the late 1970s, and while was a volunteer for the National Council for Civil Liberties, PI, which is this paedophile information exchange network, which Mr. Adrian Fulford was a part of, campaigned for laws that would have permitted sex between adults and children. This man actually campaigned publicly for the age of consent to be lowered to 4 years old, and this man is actually still a judge. A man who's campaigned publicly for children who are 4 years old to have sex is still a judge in this country. It's shocking. I think it's utterly disgraceful. I mean, Lord Justice Fulford was the founder of the paedophile support group. So if you just Google him now, what does it say about this person? Sir Adrian Bruce Fulford is a British judge who is a member of the Court of Appeal of England and Wales, and was a member of the International Criminal Court in The Hague from 2003 to 2012. Right, so how can this man do his job? How can he be a judge and be reasoned and be of credible character if he, in his mind, thinks it's right that 4-year-old children should be having sex? Why is he still working? This is our establishment. It's riddled with paedophiles. A man who has publicly campaigned for 4-year-old children to have sex. It's there on the internet. Feel free to Google it. Sir Adrian Fulford. I tell you what, I don't think he's a sir. I don't think he's a knight. Knights don't have sex with children. Good men. He's not a judge. He's a joke. This whole establishment is a joke. So he was involved with Queen Elizabeth, and she actually was involved in helping and passing, legislation and stuff to help these people, to help PI, this paedophile information exchange network. Okay. She's been found guilty for crimes against humanity for publicly killing 10 children in Canada. She should abdicate. She's guilty of high treason. She took an oath to God and to this country to protect us, and she's been a part of the paedophile information exchange. It's just riddled with it. The whole establishment is riddled with it. They should all resign immediately. They should all give up their posts because they are not capable. They are not in their right minds. These people are not in their right minds to govern us, to judge us. How can a judge who thinks it's right for a 4-year-old to have sex be governing us? How is that right on any level? Any reasoned person with any kind of morality would know that that isn't right. Google him. It's there on the internet for everyone to see. I don't know how these people live their lives and hold their heads up and walk about the streets. I just don't know how I don't know how they exist. It's unbelievable, but it's true. Truth is stranger than fiction. And it was interesting, I watched that video with the man from New Zealand, I forget his name now, but actually talking about proper history of the world, about who's who, and, Monica Lewinsky worked for Mossad and was working for the Israeli government. And the thing is, I totally believe all of it, because the version of truth that we're presented with via the mass media and via the internet and the BBC, I mean, the BBC is a joke. I mean, it covered up for Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris, so I literally don't believe a word the BBC says. They're the worst of all of them, I think. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like, I like how the government just pretend that this isn't happening and just pretend that everyone doesn't know that they're a bunch of paedophiles and murderers and arse coverers. She needs to abdicate, as do, I mean, this judge is not a judge. He's a joke. He's a paedophile, quite clearly. And he's working in the Court of Appeal. So he's deciding on really important cases, because that's obviously like really high up in terms of like the court hierarchy. You know, if someone makes, you know, it goes to the Court of Appeal, that's like the last chance saloon before it goes to European Parliament, I think. So how can he judge? How can he judge anyone in a reasoned and fair way if he has publicly advocated for people to have sex with 4-year-old children? It's astounding that these people are still working and they're still walking about as free citizens. It just shows you what a complete joke our country is. There's this veneer of democracy. It's not a democracy at all. Because how can it be a democracy when the monarch, I mean, yeah, the monarch is a paedophile and a murderer. Our Prime Minister has been accused of being a paedophile. Judges are in the Court of Appeal, advocate people having sex with 4-year-old children. It's true. And it's awful. People need to wake up and face that we're living under a dictatorship, because she has to sign off on all UK bills of legislature. She can't prosecute herself. So she's untouchable as in terms of the words of the law go, but then she's also committed high treason by, you know, advocating this paedophile information exchange with Adrian Fulford. She went against God, she went against her country. She should abdicate, as should all members of the royal family, from their positions, because they're quite clearly they're not actually proper royalty. They're not even British. Gax Soberth Gotha, Windsor's made up name. They kill children, they murder children, they abuse children. I read about in the Mirror the other day about a victim who came forward, a boy who was 16 years old, and at the time, you know, that was below the age of consent in England, and he was basically, from what I could gather, he was basically raped and abused in Buckingham Palace. It's not right. I don't care if you're a queen. I don't care if you're the Prime Minister. You can't do that to people. You're not untouchable. It's wrong. It's vile. It's evil. It's sick. It's twisted. And they should all resign. Cameron as well. He's a liar. He's such a liar, and he's awful as well. This thing about taking benefits off people that are sick or who've got alcohol problems or weight issues. It's like, oh right, so you're going to take up all the money off the really poor people that don't really have much anyway, while the Crown has got assets that exceed 17.6 trillion. It's like this divide between the rich and the poor just gets greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. It's not right. It's just not. I mean, forget about politics for one moment. Put that to one side and just think about morals, about what you know to be inherently right and wrong. It's just wrong. All of it's wrong. It's so wrong. There needs to be change, and there will be change, because the people demand it, and the people are going to get it. It's happening, and I'm so happy.